Okay, this is Mike Franklin, and I'm going to be reviewing my 2001 Quad City Challenger 2 wing removal. Um, just bought this thing recently, and the weather's getting warmer, and so um, it's just been so darn cold. We haven't had a chance to get this thing out of here. It's still in the barn of Mr. Bradbury, who built this thing, and 20 years ago, and it's been sitting for about 4 years. And but anyway, we got to get the wings off of it so we can transport it. So this video is what was involved with getting these wings off. So I'm going to review that with you and review some of the photos. And I will switch to those photos. But before I do, there's connectors here and here, and then the ailerons connect here. So on each side, there's basically three sets of connectors you have to deal with, and you got to disconnect this and here and here and here and ultimately here and here. So separate the struts from the wing and pull the wing off. It took 4 of us to do it. The wings are not heavy, but they're just very delicate, and you got to be careful with them because they damage very easily. This particular piece we had to remove on each side. It's got a very sharp point, and it could poke through the wing, so we had to do that. But other than that, this, and the cross member all stayed in one piece after we disconnected it here, 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 and here. And then we were able to just pull this thing off, pull the wing off, and pick it up and put it over on these tables over here. But anyway, I'll move over to the photos and show you exactly where it connected. Let's see. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, and then we got wing removal photos. Excellent. Okay, so let me show this photo. And here's my neighbor Dave, very instrumental in helping out. And then this is Andy. Andy's dad was into aviation, and I believe he had Lipscomb and Pipers and Cessnas and Taylor Craft, and all kinds of stuff. He'd worked down over the years, and refabric things, did all kinds of stuff in general aviation. So these old airplanes. So Andy kind of grew up around that, and so he was good enough to help me out. He took all the initiative, and Mr. Bradbury is there to help to advise us because he built the thing. So give us some advice on knowing exactly what where to disconnect things, because none of us had ever done this on this particular airplane before, so it was all new to us. But let's see, you'll see this bar right here. Normally it folds back over and it connects to the aileron here, and I believe that's a 3/8 inch nut, kind of a lock nut kind of a thing. I forget the exact terminology, but I think a 3/8 gets that off. And then there's this here, and these are 7/16. So there's here and here is 7/16. And after we disconnected the struts, we just picked the wing up and put somebody on each corner and picked it up and moved it over and put it under some cushions. It's not heavy at all, and if you got used to doing it, you might be able to do it more quickly than what we did. There's also a piece of plastic that covered the top between the two wings, and that was secured with Phillips head screws. So it was like 10 screws to get that off. Here's the aileron connector, and it's just a 3/8 inch lock nut of some kind. And there's one for each side. And also there was a wire that went through each wing out to the navigation lights, and so you had to disconnect that as well. Let's see what else we got. this will give you a good close-up of that of one of the connectors. Looks pretty solid, but you know, anything load bearing we'll probably just replace, you know, just to be on the safe side. That'll be up to the A&P. But I've heard of issues where there have been failures with these connectors, but I think that they're more these connectors, because I think these seem pretty heavy duty and they look pretty good, but these don't seem as heavy duty to me. And I think that there's been issues with those, so we'll probably replace those. And we'll take a look at the struts, see if those need to be replaced. Any of those wing connectors. Here's the wing itself. Got a lot of bird poo on there from sitting in there, and we're going to clean it up, and hopefully it didn't damage the integrity of the wing. We'll be checking into that, and we'll find out. Here's the wire that goes out to the navigation lights. Probably replace the navigation lights with LEDs. But what I have to wait for the registration to come back, make certain there's no issues with that before I start spending a lot of money. Here's another picture of my neighbor Dave, and you know, working on all this stuff. That's a pretty good shot of these connectors right here. And again, this is the aileron. But we got a lot of clean out, a lot of spiders and stuff. Right now it's still on the amphibians, but we have wheels for it and we have skis for it. So that's pretty much the bottom line. So we got the wings off. They're all sitting over here. And so I'm looking to get an enclosed trailer, and so before too long we'll be pulling this thing out of here. A little concerned about the width of the tail. I prefer not to have to take one of these horizontal stabilizers down. But if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. It's 8 feet 2 inches wide, and I'm not certain what my trailer opening is, but it's going to be tight. So we might have to do something there. But we're going to clean this thing up. It's got the puddle jumper floats. We're probably going to be put the thing back on wheels, but I think we can fit it in the trailer because these are only 7 feet 2 inches wide at the widest. So the tail's the problem, not the floats. So we should be able to get this thing in the trailer if we can get the tail in. But you know, once we get to the hangar, we'll put it on wheels, and it'll be because initially we're gonna, you know, test fly it just on wheels before we get into the floats, obviously. Since I've got you here, I'm going to show you the nose panel, and there's an opening right here. I'll show you what it looks like inside there. Okay. And fuses, and these are the rudders for the back passenger. Back passenger has the stick back there. They don't have a throttle. I suppose you could put one back there. I'm not going to worry about it for now, but probably could. Clean this up in here, make certain everything's secure. My main concern was whether or not there's any corrosion, but I think it looks pretty good. But you know, what do I know? I'm going to have a professional look at it and make certain that there aren't any issues in that regard. You know, going to have to go through the motor, but make certain registration goes through and see how everything else is looking. I've got all kinds of cushions for it, and I've got doors for it. It has heat and everything. But also in the very front of the nose is the battery connector. These are the rudders for the pilot. But here's the battery. And I'm not certain how much that battery weighs, but probably 10, 15 pounds. And it's very far forward. So I'm going to want to maybe put a new modern battery and put it underneath the back seat and move some of that weight back. But anyway, that's the situation as of March 18th, 2022. We got the wings off, so now we're going to transport the airplane, hopefully within the next couple weeks, and get it up there and go through it and clean it up and see what's going to be involved and see if it's a practical thing to do to get this thing flying again. It's Mike Franklin, 2001 Challenger2.com. Again, I want to qualify before I found out the details of this thing. I thought it was a 2001 because that's what the airworthy indicated, but that was issued in August of 2001. The registration was issued, I found out later, January 2000, and the kit serial number is from, looks like January 1997. So, it was at 0 hours in August of 2001, but it is a 1997 kit. But I don't believe that there's any differences between the kits between 2001 and 2007. But it took him a little bit to build it. Mr. Bradbury did the build on this experimental, and it takes a little time to build them. But it's a 1997 serial number. Challenger 2, Quad City Challenger 2. It's got a 503 Rotax on it. 150 hours on the motor and the airplane. I had originally had a wood prop, but now it's replaced that. And there you have it, March 18th, 2022. Mike Franklin, 315-876-2262. Info at 2001challenger2.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.